G'day guys, welcome back to another tipping video on the channel. Today I'll be going through my round 9 tips and also going through what occurred in round 8. So let's get straight into it. With the tips I did fairly well. I think most people did pretty well this round. Carlton versus Brisbane, got that one correct. Pretty close for the margin as well. I tipped them by 16. The Lions, they won it by 26. Richmond versus West Coast, I tipped Richmond by 3 goals. They won it by 46 points, so that was alright. Geelong versus Adelaide, I tipped Geelong by 22. They won by 26. Very, very close there as well. And another thriller game between these two, Gold Coast versus Melbourne. It was a thrilling game, and obviously I tipped Melbourne. And unfortunately, I did tip GWS, so got that one incorrect. The Dogs proving to be too strong on the night. Freo versus Hawthorn, obviously got that one correct. Port Adelaide versus Essendon in another close game. Port Adelaide getting the job done. I managed to tip that. And again, very, very close with the margin for this game. Collingwood versus Sydney was Collingwood getting the job done by the 30 points. I tipped them by 27, so again, very, very close. And North versus St Kilda, a shit show really. I did manage to tip that one correct as well. So 8 out of 9 tips. Really, most people should have been getting 9 if you're really thinking about it. When I found out Toby Green was out, I knew Bulldogs were going to win immediately. And if Toby Green was playing, I reckon it would have been different for the Giants. But anyways, my big calls, not so good, but better than last week at least. Curnow to kick 5 or more goals was a fail. I did get this one correct though. Richmond kick a run of 5 or more goals in a row. Obviously expected, playing West Coast. Jeremy Cameron to kick 5 more goals was a fail. Chandler and Van Rooyen to combine for 6 more goals. They combined for 2. Not great there. Hogan to kick 4 more goals. Obviously was originally Toby Green. But he pulled out late, injured, so obviously got that one wrong. The lead never goes beyond 4 goals for Freo versus Hawthorn, and that occurred in the second quarter, so that was incorrect. For Port versus Essendon, I predicted both teams to combine for 50 or more scoring shots, and they combined for 54. So, yes, I'll take that. That's a good result. My big call for the Pies game was the Pies to have 5 or more behinds and goals, and they didn't, which is actually a good thing, so I'm happy about that one. 11 goals, 11, pretty good. And my big call for the Saints game was the Saints to kick 7 or more goals in any quarter. I thought, come on, surely I can get this one correct. But they barely even kicked 7 for the game, so very, very interesting in the end. That was round 8, got 8 out of 9 for my tips, 2 out of 9 for my big calls. But let's get straight into round 9. It looks like it's going to be a very, very interesting round 2 with a few good games and a few not so good games. Starting off with a double header on Friday night. We've got Richmond taking on Geelong at the G. Richmond are in horrible form, as we know, but they are coming off a win against West Coast. Obviously, it wasn't anything pretty. Just managed to get the job done. They had a few star players. Prestio was really good, especially in that third quarter. Carried them over the line. Taranto, Dusty had a really good game. Shai Bolton had like 10 clearances, 31 touches. He was absolutely phenomenal in this game. Richmond just getting the result they really desperately needed. And Geelong, well, they've probably got the best form in the competition right now, and they're a really, really tricky team to stop. And down at GMHBA, they were dominant for most of the game against the Crows. And in my opinion, probably should have won it by a little bit more. You can't really stop Geelong, can you, at the moment? They're in flying form. Richmond, well, you can't really count them being in good form. Seemingly just beat West Coast, who are dead last. I'm going Geelong in this one. They do have a suspension and an injury below, though. Patrick Dangerfield out will affect them. And Brad Close has been suspended. Confirmed now. It was pretty obvious that he was going to be suspended with that sling on Jordan Dawson. They should still win it by 44 points. My big call, Tigers kick 10 or less goals. And then moving on to the second game of the Friday night, it's West Coast versus Gold Coast. A game that not too many will tune into. Except for me, of course, who bloody watches every single game, every single round. But anyways, Yeah, look, the Suns, they had a fairly good performance against the Dees. Obviously, they didn't get the result or even the draw. That Darcy McPherson miss will be painful, that's for sure. It's either going to strive them for success in the rest of their season or strive them for a downfall. Looks like they may have finally found their X Factor player, though, in Malcolm Roses Jr., who managed to snag 4. He was very, very good, and against a really good defence in Melbourne, that is a brilliant result for the Suns. Their defence again was pretty solid as it's been all year. Their midfield was surprisingly really good, especially seeming Took Miller wasn't playing in this game. And if they had Took, they probably would have won that. The Suns, they should have at least come out of that game with points though. So yeah, I feel like a win as well, even a draw could have really kick-started their season. But now they're in a position where they're desperately needing a win, and then you got a team who for West Coast who are probably hungry after a few poor performances. Last week on the road, they were pretty shocking against Richmond, really. They just weren't in the game. They were for the first half, but then in the second half, they just weren't in it. Another great performance by Oscar Allen, though. He's having a sensational season. But the unfortunate thing, Jai Culley's done an ACL. Another one to the injury list for West Coast. Just can't get any better, can it, their injury list? Yeah, I'm going the Suns, obviously. I don't think it'll be a smashing, though. Go them by 20 points. My big call, Suns have 5 players with 10 or more marks. They are a marking team, the Suns. It's ridiculous. They get over 150 marks a game, over 100 uncontested. Surely they can get this done. And then we got Freo taking on the Swans at the SCG for the first of the Saturday games. It should be a very interesting clash. Freo maybe finally finding some form. That's what everyone's saying, but they were playing Hawthorn. No one really good. Brayshaw was very solid. Maybe he's found some form, possibly. Sarong again was fantastic. Brennan Cox was very good down in defence. They really needed a good performance from him, and he was very solid. Their forward line was pretty good for once. And yeah, some of their players actually look pretty dangerous down there for the first time this season. And Sydney, well, they had a really poor game against Collingwood. They had a good second half of the second quarter, but apart from that, it was just misses galore. There was a few bad ones by Isaac Heaney, Will Hayward. Peter Luddham's had that one on the quarter-time siren. That one was shocking. Obviously, Buddy being booed didn't help. I'm sure he'll probably come out hungry in this game. Especially at their home ground. Their fans want to see it. The Swans players want to see it. And especially Horse wants to see it. They want a response from Buddy. They want a response from their midfield group. Maybe now with some defence back, they can actually get a good, solid win. I'm not confident, though, in the Swans because they did lose to GWS at their home ground. So I'm going to go Sydney in a pretty close clash in the end. I'm not sure if too much people will predict this, but 9 points. My big call, Freo take 100 or more marks as well. Pretty much similar to the Gold Coast big call, really. Next, we've got North Melbourne taking on Port. First game down at their Bloodstone Arena, North. It should be an interesting clash. An interesting clash. Sorry about that. Yeah, look, North, not much to say about it. They were just really bad. St Kilda were horrible in that game, but North were just even worse. And Port, yeah, look, just getting another result. Fantastic. Junior Rioli's in heaps of trouble, though. Given a 3-week suspension, I don't think they're even going to bother arguing it in the tribunal because it was pretty serious and it deserved 3 weeks, to be honest. That hit on Jordan Ridley. But yeah, look, not much to say about this game. Port are flying. They're pushing for top 4 at the moment. Obviously, they might not finish there at the end of the year, but right now, they could probably get into the top 4 if they can win this game, especially if they can smash. I'll go Port by 44 points. My big call, 10 Port players kick 2 or more goals. I think I had that big call a few weeks ago as well. So, yeah, it's interesting how I've decided to do that again anyways. Next, we've got Hawthorn taking on Melbourne at the G. Another one where it's just like, give us a good matchup. Come on, because this one could be very ugly for Hawthorn. Now, do I want to tip that? Yes, but no. Yeah, not much to say about Melbourne. Just got the result, really. Had a few missed chances early in the fourth term. But yeah, overall pretty good game for them. The Suns were very great in that game. Just the D's were a little bit better. At stages, they did get smashed in the contested area though, which is something you just don't normally see from Melbourne. And Hawthorn are actually a pretty good team at that. So you never know. You never know. Maybe it won't be a 100-point smashing. Maybe it'll be pretty close. But nah, jokes aside, Hawthorn's midfield's actually been pretty good this year and was actually probably their best game in the midfield this season against Freo. They just had a really bad turnover game. I think Freo kicked most of their goals from turnovers, really, and just really unfortunate for Hawthorn as their season just gets worse and worse. Got to go Melbourne. Jacob Van Ruin too, under definite suspension. He's going to be arguing his case right now, actually. Don't know the result of it, obviously, but definitely deserves a suspension of probably even more than 2 weeks, really. I mean, Ballard's obviously seriously injured after that, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, D's by 55 points. My big call, D's kick a run of 6 or more goals in a row for the game. I do that big call a lot, don't I? Anyways, Brisbane taking on the Dons at the Gabba. Again, not sure too much people would be enjoying this game, but it's got possibility to secretly be a good game. The Bombers, they've just got really bad defensive stocks at the moment. So much injuries down there, and Brisbane have got the most dangerous two forwards in the comp, arguably, and it could get ugly for their defenders. Jordan Ridley becoming the latest one on that list. And Brisbane, well, they do have some injury issues themselves. Kadeem Coleman's out, but I just want to say what a performance it was by Payne on Charlie Curnow last week. He's flying. Brisbane are flying. 5 wins on a trot. They should make it 6 here. Brisbane by 17 points. My big call, Charlie Cameron kicks 4 or more goals. And the other game, arguably the better matchup of the two for this Saturday night blockbuster games, Carlton versus Western Bulldogs, should be an interesting game. Or at least I'm hoping. The Western Bulldogs, they've just got the job done against the Giants, who have a horrible record down in Canberra, really. Probably should have won the game by a bit more. They choked that fourth quarter a bit. Tim English was phenomenal. Bonampalli's having an amazing season. Definitely up there for the Brownlow with Nick Dankos at the moment. Just a few star players just carrying the Dogs over the line in a game that they had to win. They are currently sitting in the top 8 and above Carlton, so you never know what could happen. Charlie Curnow for Carlton went missing last week, and in my opinion, it was a big reason why they lost. They just couldn't find a good forward option in this game against the Lions, and their midfield got beaten in the second half pretty convincingly. Their defence wasn't great, especially in that last part of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter as well. Just Brisbane dominant in the forward line, really. And with Carlton's small defensive stocks, I'm surprised they were able to hold some defenders. So it was some small forwards to what they did in the end. Bailey kicked 4 though. Cameron kicked 3 or 4. So I was surprised they managed to keep Rayner and McCarthy out the game. And in my opinion, should have lost the game by more. But look, you have to go safe here and tip Carlton. I don't know, really. The Dogs could easily win this game. I'm not joking. Carlton by 6 points. My big call, the Blues are in front for the entire match. I don't see this one happening, but why not? Next, we got the Crows taking on the Saints. This is Mother's Day as well, the first of the Mother Day games. They are shaping up to be brilliant games as well, if I do say so myself. They're going to be phenomenal games, both these. And well, this one's just a bit of a coin flip, really. I mean, Adelaide, they're just so hard to beat at this ground, and apart from that 1-point loss to Collingwood in that game against Richmond, I think they've lost here, and I don't see St Kilda. It's very, very difficult, this one to tip. St Kilda, they do like the Adelaide Oval. They weren't great last week. people were starting to question they're dropping off. Yes, they have dropped off, but yeah, I guess they're probably trying to see if they can sustain that momentum for a good period of time that they had for the first 5 or 6 weeks. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Look, you have to go safe, really, and tip Adelaide at home. Look, it still doesn't feel right, but I'm going to go Adelaide by 2 points. My big call, both teams combined for 190 plus points. Really, it's a coin flip, this one. And then next we got Collingwood taking on GWS. Few people have asked me about this game, and I'm coming in saying that honestly we could lose it, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, hopefully we don't, obviously. But yeah, Toby Green in doubt for this game. If Toby Green doesn't play, then I feel like it might get, a little bit annoying for them. And yeah, that obviously, in my opinion, if Toby Green was playing, yeah, they probably would have won that game. Against the Western Bulldogs. And yeah, Collingwood, obviously just a great result. Brody Mychek was phenomenal, 5 goals, one of them probably goal of the year. Yeah, just a fantastic performance from him and the Pies. Hopefully we can have another one here against the Giants. Tom Green was also phenomenal in that game. He also really, really desperately tried to get his team over the line, but just couldn't. Their defence has been pretty good though, GWS. This season, and yeah, it's just going to be a battle in the midfield, and I feel like our midfield will probably win the game for us. We'll win it by 10 points in a thriller. My big call, Jordan Goey, gets 35 or more disposals and 2 or more goals. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the tipping video for this week. Stay tuned for next week where I'll be doing my next tipping video, and obviously my review against the Giants.